line here. And I guess collectively, maybe the ESL suits mods or suits guys are like, yes, please, hyped win, save on the budget, don't fly from Korea.
Maybe we'll put hyped in a if he wins in a nicer taxi.
And then nicer, yeah, we'll call him an UberX. There you go, hyped. You win a trip to the final as well as an Uber ride.
Yeah, we're not even going to put you in a hotel. You have to drive back home afterwards. No, we wouldn't do that.
Hyped has a really sick ride.
Does he?
Yeah, actually, I don't know anything about cars, but it's one of those cars that ends in X. It's like,
well, you know it's
like
cool.
a GX, and I'm like, oh man. It's a BRZ.
Doesn't end in X.
I was told it was a BRZ.
Z is close enough.
But it has one of those really high extreme letters of the alphabet that implies that it's high octane and it got a lot of horsepower.
Okay.
Anyways, it describes a lot about Hype 2 in terms of his playstyle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to even. Not even close to Control Warrior.
Well, Hyped does have a pretty slow hand, but the most important thing is that big game hunter, I think, to stabilize. And again, getting that Violet Teacher out in the open is really crucial to start things off. And we were talking about how taking initiative against handlock is really important.
It is.
Because now whenever minion gets dropped, not only does Hype have to deal with it, but he also can start pushing for damage compared to before he was responding.
Well, he draws into the sprint, but
yeah,
it's
no prep.
No prep. Prep would have been pretty nice at this stage, but he can live without it.
Yeah.
This is still a pretty good set of plays though, because he's creating tokens, and he's going to be able to deal with this Twilight Drake. So it's not the worst in the world. Now this board is very weak to Hellfire.
And almost certainly what's about to happen. And does that give Hype initiative to be able to take it back? It's just as simple as dropping a preparation. Fan of Knives, it's okay, it cycles. It gives you something to do as opposed to just pass. Definitely a subpar turn.
I mean, if he has ways to answer a threat next turn, if it's like a Mountain Giant, he has Big Game Hunter. If nothing of a big threat to him is played, he can play Trade Prince Gallywix. Because filling a handlock's hand with coins is
actually kind of annoying.
Yeah, I was thinking, is it good or is it bad? I don't even know.
I mean, you just play the coin. It's not like it's really good for any mill effect, I think, but it's the idea that it jumbles up the hand. And more importantly, there's a lot of quality spells. So Big Game Hunter seems to be the natural choice here, but the problem again becomes the rest of the turn naturally is defunct.
Yeah, you don't really have any other options at that point. Anything else you play gets eaten up by the Mountain Giant. Just makes your following turn that much weaker.
So finally, it's like an opportunity. Well, before she didn't really have much to take initiative on the board. This gives Hype some breathing room, because now there's no longer a towering minion that will be threatening everything. Instead, it seems like he'll be the one doing that if he drops Dr. Boom.
Dr. Boom. And the big question here is whether or not to hold on to the and I would like this choice because he has the Blade Flurry.
Yeah, it's a little short-sighted to try and use your weapon charge when you have already half the deadly poison used and a Blade Flurry in hand. Not to mention you also have Violet Teacher, so spells like that also have additional bonus value of creating damage.
Now, the one thing that this opens up a Shadow Flame opportunity, but there wouldn't really be much follow-up to that play from Magicamy. Should be able to trade in and then Shadow Flame and have a tap.
Pretty reasonable.
But putting something on the board, this works as well. Sort of in
Yeah,
a similar
I like
vein.
it.
But
It's a
you're
good
putting,
heads-up play.
yeah, you're putting stuff on the board.
Interesting. Sabotage. So now,
I think this might be a sabotage turn.
right, you sabotage
Violet Teacher
the Violet
sabotage.
Teacher.
And then you have sprint available as well. You're not worried about emptying your hand as much. And this is the power of that card, putting in such how strong it is against handlock, especially in a matchup that would normally be weak for Rogue.
Sabotage is so cool.
I love it.
The animation is
Did we ever
great.
get confirmation of whether or not it kills Tyrion plus Ashbringer? Did you tweet
No.
at Ben Brode?
No. I
Oh.
can write a tweet right now if you give me 15 seconds.
I think I might.
For science. That was my best mad scientist impression.
That was actually really good. I
No,
thought for a second.
I was just
Did somebody play Mad Scientist? Oh no, that's just Dan
just Frodan.
doing his impressions.
Doing Frodan things. That was probably one of my weakest impressions yet. Or best, depends on how you're looking.
Well,
Prince Gallywix is okay. I've yet to see Prince Gallywix do anything though. Today he's been one of the most underwhelming cards. Before the only card that was more underwhelming than Prince Gallywix was Mal'Ganis, and it just won Magicamy the game. So if Trade Prince Gallywix doesn't up his game, he's going down as bottom tier.
Yeah.
In terms of today's performance, I'm not saying that Hyped was wrong to bring him into the deck.
I think Blade Flurry might even be... Oh, never mind. I was thinking about it for a second. I think that's what Hyped was debating. God, what did he say? No!
I was waiting!
No!
You talked over him again!
You did it last time.
Yeah, but you did it 2 times.
Psh.
I can't believe you. So, Sylvanas, if she ends up being played on the board here, Hyped has... Oh, I forgot about Shadow Flame.
Wow.
So now, she even has the coin, so she can coin out the Zombie Chow. I mean, why not?
Yeah.
So now Hyped has his own Shadow Flame.
And whatever... but whatever Hyped plays to
He
deal
gets a
with...
coin.
To deal with this...
Right. I mean, having a coin isn't so bad as a rogue.
No, it's pretty good.
But you give another Shadow Flame back to your opponent.
And also, he doesn't have any like Violet Teachers, so maybe the coin isn't as good.
Right.
And what does he...
Sprint!
Oh, no!
It doesn't matter if he gets sprint to his opponent, right?
Yeah, because Handlock is never really going to be in a situation where...
That's actually really funny. Now, preparation is a big deal, I think.
Oh, yeah.
like Molten Giant Preparation, Shadow Flame, Draxus, or something like that.
You can... Blood Mage, Coin, Shiv. I don't think Shiv is as important. Or Blood Mage... No, yeah. You'd be taking a lot of damage, but that damage would be made up by the fact that there's a Zombie Chow on the board.
I actually have no clue what's even remotely close to optimal right now. The closest is to just remove Gallywix through a Shiv, like you were mentioning, with Thalnos. But it's like, that's only because of restrictions of plays.
It'd be cool to see this Gallywix bounced a couple more times. Or just seeing the potential of what a Handlock can do with more rogue spells. That's really scary to think about.
Well, Sprint feels very interesting being in the hand of the Warlock player here.
It feels like a dead card.
Yes, but I do think it's a priority to take out this Thalnos. Now, would you want to silence it? I feel like silencing the Thalnos is
No, because
valuable.
if you give him a card, you're burning a card.
That's true, but I really do think like milling is very overrated unless you like completely Like, unless you completely deck out.
But in this situation, you're actually using a card to not mill.
Oh, because he's already at 9?
Yeah.
So he's going to draw that card anyways.
Yeah. So this is just, well, I'm killing off the Blood Mage,
Oh, boy.
and by consequence, he's gonna burn a card. And we'll see what it's gonna be. Backstab,
Pretty important.
yeah.
Backstab would have allowed him to kill off the zombie chow easily. Instead, looks like he's going to have to Blade Flurry with Eviscerate here.
Does he
Double
have...
prep. Yeah, he's got this. So he can, oh, does he have lethal?
Yeah, 3, 8, 12.
No, he doesn't have lethal.
No.
Wow. Interesting to just hesitate over it.
I mean, he could Azure Drake again. Coin, Deadly Poison.
Oh. Oh, man.
Prep, Eviscerate, Prep, Blade Flurry.
Clear board.
That's 14 damage.
That's sick.
Wait, if he coins, Deadly Poisons, that's 3. Preps, Eviscerates. That's 9. Preps, Blade Flurry. Wow. So, in a very weird way, he was 1 damage off lethal.
Okay, so he's instead going with this, and Zombie Chow is going to put him at 8 health. Oh, he's just going to attack. Wow. Wow. Now, I don't know what to say about that sequence of plays. It was very, very tight, but Hyped manages to barely survive.
Wow, that was really close. Really, really close. And,
Does she just want to go for it? But she's afraid of dying if that's the case. What if you taunt up Ragnaros?
that'd be okay.
Right.
But I think the anti-Killbot play might be a little safer.
Well, what's the downside? If you hit a Drake, because the Drake's the worst case scenario, then he already used 2 saps. He has to go through the hard way, unless he sabotages. He has a Shadow Flame. Maybe Shadow Flame could be.
This is a really
I don't know. This is starting to get really weird because of the cards in each other's hands that don't belong to them.
Yeah.
So is it just Molten Giant Sludge Belcher?
Well, Giant Shadow Flame. That's pretty good.
Okay.
And then a Rag next turn. Well, Earthring Farseer would put him at.
Wow. That's really close to.
Oh wow.
Okay, so you Farseer, Sludge Belcher, and Weapon up.
Mm-hmm.
And next turn you have Rag, like this. You could, you know what's really funny? You could like Rag, prep Shadow Flame, and like do like really weird stuff. This deck is very weird because of the trade prints.
And it makes the other deck really weird too.
Yeah.
Because then all of a sudden, they start getting coins.
Mm-hmm.
Coins in places where there shouldn't be coins, Frodan.
Well, Hyped does have the Killing Blow next turn if Amy doesn't have something for this. Draxus is not what she needs right now. Perhaps the Ancient Heal Bot. So that's 22 health, and then the Sludge Belcher. Yeah, should be enough to keep her alive here.
What could Hyped have that would allow him to push through? I don't think there's much left. Both these players have to be... they've gotten pretty far into their decks at this point, I'd say. Yeah, 22 health, there's just no possibilities anymore.
Shadow Flame is not bad here. If you Shadow Flame the Farseer, you can actually take out mostly everything. Problem is the mana cost. Like everything becomes pretty awkward after that.
So you're saying,
Is it better to just Rag? Just say screw it?
So many options.
If you
It's
could
pretty tough.
Sludge Belcher into the other Sludge Belcher, Shadow Flame, the Earthen Ring Farseer, and SI Agent would clear the board, but
Right.
it wouldn't put you in any better of a position. 22 health is a lot to get through.
Well, if you're gonna use the SI7 agent, then you use it afterwards, or use it before, so that way you don't take damage on your Sludge Belcher.
Wow. He's really trying his best to preserve all of his creatures with as much health as possible. He knows that he knows the weaknesses of Rogue going into the later portions of the game, and that's that they run out of gas.
Man, Hype's plays are so complicated, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, this is why he's renowned as one of the best Rogue players, and why I look like a clown at the moment. I have such a hard time being able to like figure out what's going on through his mind. But it's partially why he's considered to be one of the best, if not the best Rogue player in all of the entire region.
Maybe even all of the world.
Possibly. Because, I mean, NA has definitely proved its worth. Europe has fallen off a little bit. Some of their star players have been slumping a little bit.
Yeah.
But it seems like America's still holding strong, and then China and Asia, surprisingly, has been stepping it up.
It's always the case with games. They start off slow and then step it up.
I guess Magicamy's lumped into the Asia category because she's living in Korea, from Korea.
With a Tespa card back.
With the Tespa card back. It's time for Ragnaros.
Well,
And it hits the Farseer.
I
Oh wait, Hype has another sap. What? How does he have 3 saps? Didn't he use a sap on it? Oh, that was a previous series. He used it on the Twilight Drake.
he sabotages the Twilight
Right,
Drake this
right,
time.
Right.
Does he have 3 saps?
So many options.
Well, I guess it could be possible if
Oh man.
Trade Prince. He's
Hold
sapped.
on. So, if you attack with everything here, 7, no,
It's not enough to.
to set up a 50-50.
Yeah.
You're also afraid of like missing the flip, right?
Yeah. But do you really have much of a choice? Well, I guess sap. Yeah. Rag sap.
Choose
Yeah, I think you want to play Rag this turn.
so many options.
And then I think a big question becomes whether or not you're going to be taking the damage on the Iron Beak Owl. Pretty tense. Looks like
wow.
he's got his mind made up though, and I think he's going to avoid taking the damage.
Smart play. Because if Rag comes down and hits face, then that's just the ultimate backfire for that play. And
Mal'Ganis.
so this is weird. Siphon Soul
Definitely
doesn't
is.
give you any other options. And you can only need to piece together 1 damage for the following turn.
Okay, so Siphon Soul gives you 8 health. He needs 1 damage. Jiraxis gives you 12 health because you're going to kill off the SI7, and he only needs 1 damage. No, he does have the 1 damage.
He would
'cause
have
of-
it, yeah.
Yeah, the weapon.
I think
Mal'Ganis.
Taunting Rag might.
So many
Taunting Rag.
possibilities.
I'm trying to think of, like, I'm just thinking of all the possible plays.
Yeah.
What does Mal'Ganis do? He has 7 health, right? So.
Well, if Imaganus is, she knows that he has a Shadow Flame. If she's keeping track.
Oh, you're right.
So
Shadow Flame will end it. So it basically comes down to Rag and Taunt, like you said.
yeah. Definitely doesn't feel optimal. Well, it definitely doesn't feel good, but it is optimal with this hand.
Oh, she's figured out the best play here. And what it hits, completely left up to Hearthstone. Oh!
Wow, that is ouch.
That was the only way for her to survive, right? Because Shadow Flame on the Ragnaros
Yep.
would have been it.
Yep. And he's gonna prep out this Fan of Knives just in case. We haven't seen if he has like
Alex
Alexstrasza.
Out of cards.
Oh my god, Hyped is 1 damage off lethal.
Oh, that's the 3rd time.
That is ridiculous. I think Hype loses. Because he doesn't have enough damage. He's out of cards. Wait, Alex Strauss is his last card, right? No, but it's just Siphon Souls. There's like he just ran out of damage.
Ouch. That rag coin flip.
Choose soon.
Not even a coin flip.
Wait, maybe he Shadow Flames. I think he Shadow Flames his SI, right? Shadow Flames the SI, and then
Eviscerates.
Eviscerates the Rag,
So many options.
and attacks.
But then Jiraxis.
Jiraxis? I mean, maybe not even Jiraxis, but like Mal'Ganis. You face Mal'Ganis.
Same type.
But
same
I mean,
deal.
Jiraxis is the safest for sure.
Yeah.
Whoa. Molten Giant pickup here is really big too. Alright, well I think Magicamy has this one.
Yeah, I think Molten Giant Jiraxis is a pretty automatic choice here. And that's really rough because there was a 75% chance with that rag that Hype
Yeah.
would have just straight up won the game. And 1 damage off lethal even after that. And now with only 1 card left in this deck, I don't even know if it's Alexstrasza. Yeah.
Oh, it's another Sludge Belcher.
Yeah, it seemed like with him prepping into Fan that it was that true, but if you think about it, what else would he have prepped?
No, there's nothing else really. So that's gonna wrap up the first game here, especially because now like Hype actually can't kill Mal'Ganis.
Our admin is priming the laser. What is happening? Oh, jeez. Okay. There we go. There goes the rocket. Perfectly timed. Well done. Nope, a little early. Sorry there.
Well, that finishes out the first game here, and then Hyped has to see if he can turn around with Zoo versus Druid. But it'll definitely be a tough one. But Magicamy has survived this Rogue deck, which has been unstoppable versus most handlocks. But that was the first time this Rogue deck lost today. Well, he's definitely his own player. He's specialized, and that's why he's one of the most respected deck builders for sure. Now, Magicamy does have Grove Tender. She is aware this is Zoo. Do you keep Swipe against Zoo, or do you have to mulligan aggressively for early game plays?
I think you keep it. What early game plays would that be that you would mulligan for?
I don't know.
Wild Growth?
If you have Zombie Chow, Wrath, Wild Growth.
I greet you.
Have we seen a Zombie Chow in this Druid deck? I don't remember.
Not really. So, this is quite unfortunate because Hyped has a very strong turn 1 play with double 1-drop, and Magicamy has nothing on turn 2. Even worse yet, this Grove Tender might not do anything really.
And Hype can flood the board pretty early on in preparation for a Sea Giant. And tucking that Knife Juggler in behind the Boardwalker, giving him a nice place to lay his little knife juggling head.
Yeah, precisely. And this is where like the Grove Tender, if it ramps a mana, actually is very risky because of the Defender of Argus. So I think ramping a card might be better here. You're giving Zoo another card though.
The Grove Tender seems like such a weird card.
It is pretty weird for sure.
In an ideal scenario, you could end up like ramping against a deck that doesn't benefit as much as you do. But it seems like against aggressive decks, you're giving them more room to be aggressive, and against control decks, you don't play as much of a control role. You're not as slow as they would be, and so giving them an extra mana crystal order card would be just as bad. I don't know. I guess I haven't wrapped my head around Grove
We've all
Tender
been
as a
there,
card
man.
yet.
No worries. Well, Hyped gets the juggle onto the Grove Tender. Now gets to decide, evaluate based off the juggle here. Does he go for the greedy play, trying to go for the juggle off the second proc of the Inkling Ooze? Oh, I guess he just goes all out.
Well, he would have won the juggle, but I don't think it matters. Well, actually, it does matter because of swipe. Echoing Oozes, though, could pose a slight problem.
Yeah, the swipe has removed most of the threats, so the Sea Giant won't come out next turn. But still, now it's like Magicamy might have to innervate to clear out some of these threats here.
But at the same time, this is a stabilization turn, and if you can find,
Well, is it though? Because Implosion is going to be coming out here in just a second.
but then a second swipe.
But that takes up the entire turn, and then
2!
yeah, that's pretty lackluster. Yeah, it's definitely really weak.
You don't even have to swipe. You can just drew the claw here.
Where shall I start?
Two mana implo or 2 damage implosion feels so pitiful.
4 mana for 2 damage plus summon 2/2.
He's doesn't have enough mana or minions on the board for Sea Giant yet.
And he can't play. It's not good to play Doomguard for the risk of just discarding the Sea Giant and getting one of that bigger threat.
Sea Giant, or sorry, Doomguard is super risky to just throw away a lot of your hard-earned work. At the same time, I don't know if it's right to tap it all, because Doomguard, you want to get it out as soon as you can. So it might be like, as painful as it is, it might be an exchange time with Defender Vargas. If Doomguard doesn't discard Sea Giant,
Almost out of time.
You're okay, but you might have to just go for it here.
if Doomguard discards Defender and Sea Giant, that's really bad. Oh, balls
Sneaky,
of steel,
sneaky.
this kid. I mean, Swipe will be able to deal with this, but he's at low health. 13 health remaining.
Yeah, that damage sneaks up on you.
Yeah, well, there's no other use of keeping wild growth.
Yeah.
The 1 health might be inconsequential, but you might need that extra mana in the next few turns.
That extra mana could turn into more health in the long run. Ouch.
Wow, that's very unusual to pick up 2 spells that you're not able to use. And now Magicamy can start to charge back. The fact that Hype didn't have any minion is actually really bad, because now Powerful Whelming is a lot weaker.
Dr. Boom makes Sea Giant a little easier to throw down, though. But at the same time, the Dr. Boom would almost straight up challenge it.
Yep.
An Undertaker this late in the game is meh.
It's just a minion at this point. Implosion would have to roll a 4 on Dr. Boom in order for
Sea
the
Giant.
Sea Giant to come down here. And rolls a 2.
Ouch. Twice in a
Definitely
row.
not what he was looking for here.
Bring out your dead.
Wow. That was actually a Savage Roar away from
Yeah, or a
being
force
the end of
of
the
nature.
game. Oh, that's what I meant. Well, actually, either, yeah.
Magicamy is about to turn us around here.
Yeah. Catches herself, thinks about it. Sequencing does matter at this stage. Still want to preserve the health of your creatures. And that puts it on a Savage Roar next turn.
That's true. This Dr. Boom is going to do so much damage.
Ouch.
And like we said, this Sea Giant has been doing nothing all game. In fact, pretty sure Hype's dead.
I don't think there's anything that he can draw into that's gonna keep him alive. Well, Doomguard will keep him alive.
True. It will keep him alive, just barely. Yeah. Pretty unfortunate he lost almost all of his burst, but oh, looks like he's dead anyways. The Druid of
That's
the
it.
Claw is exactly what Magicamy needed here. And that's going to wrap up game 2. Magicamy's at a 2-0 lead, and she might 3-0 this finals, as she has Freeze Mage coming up against Giants Mage.
Wow. And going into a pretty rough matchup for Druid. Both variations. Both.
Lied.
Tear you apart.
A Mage Mirror match. I wasn't expecting to see that today, but Mage is one of the decks that still, people are very unfamiliar with at the moment and refining.
And
And
it's
Magicamy is one game away from going to the top 8.
and Hype just 3 wins away.
Hype
A-
is
a-
3 wins away.
A little more daunting of a task here to have to win the next 3 matches in a row. And have to sort of
Hello?
get into a good matchup in the
Right.
blind pick phase for 2 matches in a row, even after winning this one.
So Hyped has the Twilight Drake in hand. That's really good. Magicamy also has a lot of draw in hand as well. And like we said, try to see this matchup very similar to how a handlock would be. Very similar cards.
Instead of a tap on turn 2 and a tap on turn 3, it's just an Arcane Intellect on turn 3.
I mean, the Drake's not nearly as powerful, but
Let the pain speak to me.
Powerful nonetheless.
well, Twilight Drake should be able to be taken care of. Oh, never mind. I thought it was a 4/7. I thought Fireball would have taken care of it just with an Acolyte, but requires a little bit more oomph. So Magicamy might have to play the tempo turn by Frostbolting, so that way she can buy some time. Yep, makes a lot of sense. You Frostbolt this, so that way you can get more draw out of your Acolytes.
Yeah.
What's really funny is Doomsayer is not that powerful against this deck, generally speaking. There's not many minions against what Magicamy is doing.
It's more of a disadvantage from you because,
You reset your board.
yeah, your minions are going to be, your board is a lot more important than your opponent's board in that scenario.
Do you want to give up a Fireball here to draw 2 cards? I don't mind that. You do have an Antonidas in hand. And you already have a Pyroblast as well. There's a lot of burn damage in this deck. In fact, in sheer burn damage, how much is there? There's 17, 23. There's like 33 points of burn damage
Yeah.
alone.
Once upon a time,
Just quick napkin math.
mages had to like choose. It seemed like the deck was really cluttered and they had to choose between which win condition they wanted to go for, whether it be like Archmage Antonidas or Pyroblast. Now you could fit in both.
No, you don't have to choose. And, because she's been able to dictate the state of the board, it feels like Hype hasn't been able to pressure. And to make matters worse for Hyped, he doesn't have any minions to present threats other than his Doomsayer.
And he's going to get out spell flung. So he needs to pressure. That's going to be how he wins. Oh, he's going to
Good game, Hunter.
mill a card.
Okay.
Which is actually really effective in Freeze Mage.
If
because
it's an ice block, that's pretty clutch, but...
Is too full.
Alright, that's a pretty reasonable card. I don't know if she needed that. It would have been nice to have for sure, though. Because she does already have Flame Strike, and that should be able to kill off whatever's going to come up on board soon.
Okay.
What's really scary is when Magicamy draws Ice Block with this Scientist. Because if it draws Ice Block, then Alexstrasza becomes really, really, really powerful. The fact that Magicamy already has Alexstrasza is already scary for Hyped.
And the Doomsayer and the Explosive Sheep
Right.
are both sort of working against
Right.
Hype more than for him. It's like the tools that this deck from Hyped would use against most decks
Wow.
have the opposite effect.
Look at that. Polymorphing the sheep because he realizes what that represents. If he gets an ice block, he might be in trouble. That's a very advanced play. It might look like a bad play to anybody who's first starting out in Hearthstone, but it's highly advanced in this matchup.
Yeah. Oh, she's got an Explosive Sheep of her own.
Yeah, the nice thing about Explosive Sheep is that you can fit in an Arcane Intellect with it. You just want to dig deeper again for those ice blocks.
We have to go deeper.
Or even have the burn prepared, so that way Alexstrasza could be followed up with just straight up kill damage.
Debating whether or not she should ping the Big
Right.
Game Hunter or ping the Twilight Drake. And I mean, this presents a little bit of a problem, because if you ping the Explosive Sheep, the Twilight Drake's still alive.
Well, here's an interesting thing too. Because Hype goes first, he hits Alexstrasza first. And that means if he Alexstrazzas, he can pressure her, and Magicamy still hasn't hit Ice Block yet. This is actually a very scary moment for Magicamy now that I think about it, because she didn't tap into Ice Block, and she still doesn't have a way to draw into it yet.
So going back to that polymorph on the Mad Scientist is actually,
Like, that's like even more brilliant
yeah,
from Hyped, because if she weeded out even an Ice Barrier, to be fair, it's like it might stall long enough for her to have a high impact.
exactly.
But the Ice Block is definitely really key for Magicamy here. And then she also gave up her coin, but that's, I mean, looking back on turn 2, you had 2 Acolytes. Feels like those were the reason why you even have cards in the first place.
Yeah. Couldn't Arcane Intellect in that turn to try and dig deeper
Right.
because she had too many cards. Having to use the...
Yeah, exactly. Now, this is where Hyped absolutely needs to Alexstrasza here aggressively. She has no secret. Oh, he's gonna try to line up for like a one turn kill.
Okay.
Effectively, like Alexstrasza and then basically kill. Or even just do fireballs and kill. Like, Alexstrasza is used defensively in case it ever burns. But,
Yeah.
Yeah. So this Antonidas dies, but now it's opportunity for Hype to Alexstrasza ahead of time, and then put him down to 12 health and effectively be able to try to go for it.
And it puts Magicamy on a clock where she has to draw Ice Block. Yeah. She has Arcane Intellect, but...
I mean, I like the sequence. It's a very smart one. Even though it feels like you're giving up Frostbolt, it's that you're converting your damage so that way you have lethal in terms of spells.
Yeah.
Ice Barrier doesn't do it. She
Nope.
needs Ice Block. Oh, by the way, there is an Alexstrasza that you have to kill too. Or stall. If you Arcane Intellect into Ice Block, you can play Ice Block and Frost Nova. And that'll be the way to survive. Oh, she doesn't even have to Arcane Intellect. She can draw right here. This has to be Ice Block.
Now
Doesn't
she
look
has
like
to
it.
play a card before she can Arcane Intellect.
No, she can still Arcane Intellect for one card. She'd burn the second one.
But what if that second one is Ice Block?
At this point, I think you're desperate enough.
What would you be saving the leftover mana for?
What to do? What to do?
Okay, you can Frost Nova first for sure.
It's gotta be Ice Block. Not it.
No.
Not it.
And the fact that she also froze. Okay, so it's a bluff, but I mean, Hype definitely will go for this. There's like no reason not to. You're under absolute zero pressure. The only thing that he has to make sure to do is to Fire Blast with his hero power before he fireballs a second time. Just use your hero power. And that's going to do it for game 3, and it just shows you how this matchup is very unfamiliar. Like
Yeah.
I still have no clue how to necessarily play. I just kind of analyze it on the spot as we
Yeah.
go.
I mean, if you think about it, your analysis makes sense where
Play with Lotheb. Also, how does Gallywix come into play? I don't know. I
whoa.
think Gallywix wouldn't matter as much because like Frost Nova doesn't do anything to a Freeze Mage. A lot of times in Freeze Mage versus Freeze Mage, you have players flame striking a Mad Scientist. Because there's just nothing else to flame strike.
Yeah.
They have like no minions.
Yeah. And a lot of times they like have to use cards.
Right, and they just want to stop taking damage.
Yeah.
So I think Gallywix isn't that important in this matchup.
Hello.
It could make for some interesting scenarios though.
Pleasure is mine.
Now, Hyped is also a Freeze Mage specialist. In fact, a lot of his guides, the two classes he's explored the most on Tempo Storm's website, is Mage and Rogue. And he's done a lot of Rogue, but specifically, he's also done a lot of Freeze Mage. He hasn't done a lot of Aggro Mage that people have come accustomed to.
Yeah. Getting the Mad Scientist out early is really important.
Looks like Hype has no choice but to kill it here. I really assume he's going to go for a coin SI7 agent.
Yeah.
I could be proven wrong, though.
It's the cleanest way to kill it.
Magicamy is a golden mage. I just realized that.
She's got a gold in everything.
I know, but I haven't seen golden mage in a very long time, and I'm like starting to study the particles. It's very cool.
You study those particles.
Yeah. I'm gonna do more than I'm gonna major in particles
That's bold.
and write a dissertation on it.
Let me know how that goes. Probably be very boring.
Ah, that's fine. So Ice Block is up for Magicamy. That's really important. Alex Strauss is also important. It's all about whether or not Hyped can pressure the Ice Block before Alex Strauss is out. It's like a race against time. And will Magicamy draw freeze and stall long enough or quick enough to survive?
Well,
And I have
she has it already. The freeze.
well, she needs more than just that.
Okay.
Because there could be built up pressure, like
Yeah.
a kettle. It's like even if you stall, like 3 damage this turn, 6 damage that turn, it's like there's still like 12 damage on board and you still are on a 2-turn clock.
To me.
Also, there are Farseers in this deck. Farseer might be really useful for Hyped. I'm still very much leaning towards Magicamy the longer the game goes. But Hype still has a few turns where he can do some very powerful stuff.
And we've seen this deck can put out a lot of damage in a single turn, especially with stuff on the board. There's one of those Earth Ring Farseers, so
Right. I think I like a Cone of Cold here because with Violet Teacher, it might get to the point where Cone of Cold becomes very weak, and you want to do it. You want to use Cone of Cold while you have the chance to make it super effective, and I feel like one of these times is now, as opposed to like just saying, let's just drop like Frost Nova or something like that.
yeah, it also fits the curve.
Right. That's also another good reason too. Secondary, but also pretty good.
Well, that one mana can really make a big difference later on.
Yep.
If you're forced to use spells because your hand's really full and you need to be able to empty out.
Yep. This is pretty good spacing from Hyped. Cone of Cold, if Magicamy has a second one, will make it so that way you can't touch both of those Sludge Belchers in the future turns. Not this turn, but in the future ones. It's all these like very subtle, small things that might look like, oh yeah, he just plopped down and played the Sludge Belcher, but there's more to it than just, well, I have to play Sludge Belcher.
Yeah.
Positioning.
Well, this could telegraph or make Hyped after the Frost Nova. No. Well, it could make Hyped afraid of a Flame Strike.
Well, if she had Flame Strike, she'd definitely play it now. So Hyped sees no
Or would
Flame
she?
Strike. Yeah, you want to kill off the Violet Teacher. There's 9 damage on board. There's only 2.
But would you want to try and get more out of that Flame Strike?
It's a legitimate question.
Because either way, if you just use spells to try and get more value out of the Violet Teacher, it ain't going anywhere.
Yep, it's true. Well, Hype's still in an awkward spot here. I mean, this Farseer needs to be saved for post-Alexstrasza. The good news is that it doesn't look like his... It doesn't look like his Sludge Bushers are going anywhere anytime soon. So he'll be safe from, like, impending damage, even if Alexstrasza gets dropped. And it doesn't look like he'll be able to pop the Ice Block by turn 9.
He can mill a card here, though.
He could.
It looks like that's going to be the plan.
Farseer? Oh, man. Oh, he has Ragnaros! Oh, man. Ragnaros is one of the most problematic cards, though, for sure.
Oh!
She burns Flame Strike.
And he even healed the Violet Teacher out of range of Flame Strike.
Yeah. Now here's, like, Blizzard. And, Blizzard will stop the damage from the minions. But you can kill off this Doomsayer.
Yeah. Rogue is one of the best classes at being able to deal with a Doomsayer with a frozen board. Just because they can usually they have so much removal from hand. And let's see.
There's no way to guarantee a Ragnaros shot on that. Backstab, Eviscerate.
I think you use Sabotage, to be honest. Unless you want to save that for Alexstrasza.
Yeah, I think Eviscerate probably is your best bet here.
I feel like you want to hold on to Eviscerate for extra damage.
Well, I like the Eviscerate for the tokens. And,
Okay.
And then Blade Flurry to finish things off here. Oh, I suppose he just kills it off. Sabotage. That's interesting.
Well, I expected a Sabotage, but I
Not
didn't
on
expect
that.
it to be used that way.
Yeah.
Denying one card draw.
Well, I think Hype's dead. The fact that he gave, like, he has to heal out of 21 range now. The Farseer on the Violet Teacher was pretty cute, but even if he healed on himself, it wouldn't matter. Like, Magicamy has the unbeatable combo now of, like, having Ice Block up, having Alexstrasza, and having damage.
From the hand.
21 damage next turn.
Ouch.
I think Magicamy just got her ticket to California.
I think so.
And it was all dependent on whether or not Hyped was waiting for an Alexstrasza to come out. And this is where it gets really complicated, but I don't see a way for him to kill, like, I mean, he has to kill Alexstrasza, but more importantly, he has to find a way to not die next turn.
And Magicamy just completely dissected that Rogue deck that was giving Hyped so much success throughout the entire day. It was the handlock killer. And
I mean,
it is the killer no more.
he got Ragnaros, which is a very important card. I forgot to mention how crucial that is against Freeze Mage, but it just isn't enough here.
Yeah.
And that's going to do it. Magicamy is going to the top 8 and going to be coming to the LAN Finals in Burbank in February. And she comes all the way from the Open. Last week she qualified. Oh, wow. Actually, I didn't even realize Hyped even popped the Ice Block. What a very good turn.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be enough.
He set himself up for the best possible moves that he could have had the following turn, but yeah, that is going to be it. And what's crazy is that Magicamy actually made it to the finals last week.
Right.
And lost, or
No,
2 weeks ago.
she came to the semifinals against Sho, and then Sho beat her, and then she...
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
Sho lost to Dark Wanix. But Magicamy came all the way from the Open, and now looks like she'll deny Hyped the chance to go. And she's trying to, like, send her condolences. It's nothing personal, but
Yeah.
Hyped, definitely a disappointing way for him to die here.
Definitely. And, of course, his chances are not dead yet. Since
No,
he
he'll
did
come
make
back
it to
next
the
week.
semifinals, he will come back next week. And judging by his